hands and we'll get a microphone to you, and please identify who you'd like the player to answer your question. Up front.
Michael. Hi, this is for you. Yesterday, did you think it was Albany that took you out of the game, or did you think you kind of took you out of the game? And what makes you think tomorrow will be different for you?
Well, I know their strategy was to try and take me and Scotty out of the game, so we saw a little bit of triangling too. And they were kind of determined not to let us beat them, so it opened up things for other guys. Yeah, I mean, their defense is different, so they're probably going to throw something a little different at us defensively, so we'll have some open looks in other areas.
Stay in the front row.
Hey, Patrick. Gary Smith from the Times-Union. A little while ago, Talib Zena said that in praising you, said you were a dirty player. Then he kind of qualified it later on and said he meant that in a good way, like himself. And I'm just wondering what you think about that. But and overall, what kind of physicality or what kind of game do you think is going to be tomorrow down low?
I think he meant probably that we're both similar type of players, willing to do whatever it takes, the hustle plays, going in there for offensive rebounds, fighting. I don't think he meant anything out of context as far as unsportsmanlike, taking cheap shots, because, no one's ever said anything like that about me. I've never purposely or intentionally done anything like that on the court. So, I just know tomorrow, because we're both very similar players, it's going to be a battle. We're going to go out there and just try and wear their front court out, because they have a lot of depth, a lot of good, talented guys. Especially him. I saw that he had a 19-21 game against Carolina, or 21-19 game, so I know it's going to be a battle up front. I'm just excited for the opportunity to go against someone like that.
I think there's one on the end of the first row.
Yeah, just a follow-up for any of the players. What makes them, I don't know how much you studied them on film, but they've been a pretty good kind of grinded-out defensive team. What particularly makes them tough or challenging defensively, Pittsburgh, and how much do you expect this to be kind of that kind of a game?
Scotty, you want to take that?
I think they do a great job of rotating and helping each other out on defense. They do a couple of different schemes of trapping the low post and different guys rotating up and having everybody else scramble. So it's a little bit different look than most teams. And I think, like us, they do a good job of priding themselves on defense, and they really work hard on that end. So there'll be a lot of defense played tomorrow.
Other questions? On our right in the center aisle.
Yeah, for Scotty, can you just talk? I mean, yesterday seemed to be an aberration for you guys, the way you played and the way you didn't come out with a lot of energy. I mean, what do you have to do to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Just make sure we're ready to go, put this last game behind us, and start worrying about Pitt and just how we need to play against them. I don't think there's any. We just have to be ready to play. That's all. That's the only way we can avoid something like that. I think we'll be ready, though. I think we got this game out of our system, and we're ready to move forward and ready to play like we know we can.
Third row on the center aisle. Then we have one up front here. And then
They had just mentioned that there was a TV back in the holding area. Obviously, it looks like you guys were watching the Duke-Mercer game. How much of a reminder is it about how easy it is to get overthrown in tournaments like this by teams with much lower rankings?
Patrick, you want to start on that?
How do you move forward with that?
Well, I think in this tournament, you have to be aware that every team's fighting for their life, and the goal is just to survive. So, seedings doesn't matter when it comes down to in between the lines. As you can see, a 14 can beat a 3. Fortunately, a 16's never beat a 1, and we were able to keep that going. But just moving forward, we just have to realize that our next opponent is Pitt. We have to make sure that we do whatever it takes just to survive, and every team's going to be trying to keep that same mindset of just moving on to the next round. So hopefully we can keep it going as well.
Michael, your thoughts on that maybe?
Yeah, what Patrick said, at this point, it's not about any other team. It's just about us and how we play to our standard and, just going into every game focused and prepared to stay in the moment and focus on the task at hand.
We have one in the second row on our far left.
Scotty, how's Patrick developed in his years at Florida, and what kind of guy is he?
He's a great guy, fun to be around. As far as his development, I think he's done a better job each year at getting better at his low post scoring. And he's always been a good defender, but this year, I think he's really done a good job of maybe improving his stamina so he can stay in the game for longer and play that top level of defense for longer periods of time. And just his hustle plays this year have been more than any other year. So that's about it.
Fourth row on the far left. Colleen, there's one up front next.
Scotty and Michael, I was wondering, how much of your offense is generated by the pressure you have on defense, and how much faith do you guys have in your pressure that eventually it's going to wear the other team down and you're going to start getting turnovers and all that stuff?
Scotty?
I think sometimes, we try to let our defense create some offense for us, but if the other team does a good job of taking care of the ball, then there's not too much of that. But we try to, our motto is to try to wear teams down with the press and try to eventually grind them down with our depth and just the pressure that we put on them.
Patrick, your thoughts on the defensive pressure?
Yeah, I did what Scotty said. We want to try and wear teams out. And if they're doing a good job of holding the ball, taking care of the ball, we're just going to try and set our own tempo, just run the ball up and down the floor, making them have to handle it full court without fouling. And I think we do a pretty good job of that, just trying to stay focused on that when we're locked in and focused.
Right up front.
Patrick, when Michael is in rhythm and when he hits 3 or 4 in a row, can you talk about the energy that gives your team and what it's like when he's hitting it from all over the court?
When he's open, it opens up a lot of us as well, because now those guys have to really account for him. But when we can find him and he's knocking them down, shooting with confidence, balls going down, we feel as though it gives us energy for all facets on the court, offensive side, defensive side, because we know that they're going to have to make extra rotations trying to look out for this guy. So it opens up so many other opportunities, driving lanes, closeout situations, offensive rebounding for us, because they get 2 guys running at Michael Frazier on the 3. He misses, then we have numbers on the offensive rebounding standpoint. So it just really helps us a lot when he is able to get fired up.
Back row on our left, and then there's one up front.
Yeah, this is for all 3 of you guys. Pitt only had 3 turnovers yesterday against Colorado. What can you guys see? What do you guys see in them that you guys maybe force some more and kind of make them make mistakes?
Michael, any thoughts?
Well, they're a really good offensive team as far as passing the ball, getting in the lane, playing off of 2 feet. So we're just going to have to stay solid on the defensive end and not try and gamble for any steals or things like that. Just try and wear them down, and just stay in the moment each and every possession, and try not to get out of ourselves defensively, and just stay to the ground the whole game.
Scotty?
Yeah, like Mike said, they're a great passing team, and there's nothing specific that we've talked about that we can do to specifically force turnovers, but we'll play our style and try to run and gun in the press, and just see what happens.
And Patrick?
Yeah, they have one of the best assist-to-turnover ratios in the country, and we're just going to have to do a good job of deflecting balls and disrupting their flow, style of play, same type of deal that we've always been trying to do, just be disruptive and junkyard dogs out there on the defensive side.
Front row.
Michael, talk a little bit about your defensive game. Do you think you've grown into it, and has it evolved since you arrived in Gainesville?
Definitely. But I think it's just, a result of me staying in the moment every day in practice and just understanding what I had to get better. And when I came in and watching a lot of film, listening to the coaches and my teammates, older guys, just helping me and just continue to learn and grow every day. And I think I've come a long way, but I still have a long way to go.
Front row on the end, and then we'll go to the back.
For any of the guys, how would you describe how Coach was in practice today, coming off the effort yesterday? It seemed like he was obviously a little upset in the post-game interview. Did that kind of carry over in today, or was there a sense of urgency, or how would you describe practice?
Scotty?
We haven't practiced yet, so I'm sure he's going to be on us. So
Back row.
For all three of you, how quickly were you able to compartmentalize last night and then clear your minds and focus on Pitt?
Patrick, could you hear that?
Yeah, I heard him. Well, you have to. You can't linger on in this tournament and let the last game affect you, especially if you get another opportunity to play 40 minutes again. So we just learned from the past, regrouped as a team, and going to go out and practice, make sure we know scouting pretty well, and move forward and make sure that we're ready to go, ready to have a lot of energy and passion to the next game and not let the last one affect us.
Other questions? Thank you, gentlemen. We'll let you get back to the locker room. Coach Donovan should join us shortly. The final was Mercer 78, Duke 71.